Hi, this is Carolyn Worsham, and I'm going to be giving you the overview for my technology lesson this week called This Land is Your Land. This is using Nearpod with some app smashing. The main technologies that the students will use are Google Classroom, Nearpod, and then app smashing within their Nearpod lesson. For the majority of this presentation, we're just looking at Nearpod and the app smashing. Students will only use Google Classroom to access the link and the code, so we're not going too far into that. For their app smashing components, the students have embedded in this project vocabulary, sway, they'll take a virtual tour, they'll look at a Twitter account. They do not need to have a Twitter account to look at this. They'll participate in some virtual discussions, do a flip grid, compete in a time to climb, which is a gamified quiz through Nearpod, and then do some interactives, drawing on maps and reading activities. This lesson was specifically designed for 6th grade social studies TEK 6.3C, and this is just the preview of the lesson. This is a vocabulary video that the students can watch.
Southwest and the West. You ready?
Okay, and so here the students are learning to identify the regions and parts of the United States so that they can better understand where geographical features are located. Our next thing is a sway. If you're not familiar with these, they are preloaded information that are easily accessible in Nearpod. If you have Microsoft accounts, you can also create your own sways. We are a Google district, so we don't have that ability, but I do like that they have so many sways already created to use. So through this, the students can kind of scroll through here and look at different information about the United States. I find that this helps give our students some background information just to connect their ideas to and what they know about America already. But the students will look around the Grand Canyon and look at different land features and kind of talk about the landmark and how it's specific. So here I can drag and drop. I do work in a highly economically disadvantaged district. About 90% of our kids are on free and reduced lunch, and so I can guarantee the majority of them have not been to the Grand Canyon and most likely will not go anytime soon, especially in the coming year. This next option is a class discussion so that students can take a moment to digitally respond to how they filled out this question and just sort of contribute in that aspect. Okay, next this is a Twitter pop out. So if I click on this, it will open. Okay, an extra little side box here for Twitter. So with this, the kids would look at their feed and look at just kind of different information about the national parks in order to kind of look at how the landforms differ throughout the United States. This leads us into a Flipgrid opportunity for our students. Okay. Through this, the students will click on this activity link, and then they will look at different field trips and virtual trips through the national park of their choice, and then they'll record a response telling where they visited and kind of tell their friends and class about it. All right, this next section is a reading opportunity for our students, getting that cross-curricular component in with our ELA class. So this is an expository text for the kids to read about the land and kind of the different territories and features in the United States. Our next session is an interactive map. So here the students need to label Mexico and color it green, and then label Canada and color it green. So down here I can choose different colors, and then I can color with my mouse so that I can label those easily. Okay, the same one is looking at rivers, so once again an interactive map. And then this one is another interactive map labeling the territories and just sort of identifying where those pieces are. This next part is a time to climb. I'm going to skip over this due to time, but it is essentially just a gamified quiz, okay? And then this takes us into a YouTube video looking at a political speech from President Trump talking about who owns the land and how that is decided. And this takes us into a New York Times article where they can look at who owns the land, who makes those decisions, do a class discussion of is it wise to cut this the size of state parks. The article from New York Times is talking about reducing the land and using that land. Okay, so that was a very technology-packed activity in Nearpod. It's just sort of a really good way to kind of use Nearpod in a lot of different facets in order to really reach different aspects of a lesson and integrate technology for our students.